Since 2010, Skyrocket has been operating at Kennywood mostly consistently, with the exception of one major breakdown from early 2018 to mid-2019. The ride runs all the time. But in
Now, something I do
2020,
want
it
to
was
note is
running
that many people who have ridden
fantastically.
Skyrocket
Today, I want to
rode
talk about
it
why I think it
in
is the most
2018 and
underrated
before.
ride at Kennywood. There was a breakdown on the ride in spring 2018, and I only got to ride it July 15th, 2019, and later. So, all of my ride experiences were after modifications to the launch system. The launch system was replaced by a company other than Premier Rides, since Premier Rides does not supply that type of launch. They made modifications to their LSM launch motors for the Skyrocket 2s and Skyrocket 3s. A lot of people in the past have called Skyrocket's launch forceless. This is just completely wrong. It is very forceful, and putting your hands up is just painful sometimes because of the high positive G-forces. You'll be thrown back into your seat, and it's just intense. If the hydraulic launches on Intamin roller coasters or the air launches on SNS roller coasters are more intense than that, then I don't even know what to expect from those. The main reason that I consider Skyrocket to be super underrated, though, is because of some things that happened starting in 2020. I don't know if it's because of the new weight distribution due to social distancing, or if it's just the ride running better, or if it's just me having different experiences because I rode in different rows, but there was always intense ejector airtime on 2 moments of the ride. Dropping off the top hat, you get a good probably 3 seconds of 2 or 3 seconds of sustained ejector airtime, and the only thing keeping you in is just that lap bar, and it feels like you're gonna fly out. It was really easy to get airtime room in 2020, so that was just insane. The cutback was still somewhat forceful, not that forceful, and there was still some good hang time on the 0G roll, and then you'd go into the mid-course still, but then the drop off the mid-course would provide another good second or two of ejector airtime. This wasn't as strong as the one off the top hat, but it's still great, and I hope that it still runs like that in 2021. Then you still go through some moments of just... You still go through the rest of the layout the same as you would before. You get good hang time, and you get only a little bit of airtime on those ending airtime hills, though I did notice a little bit more airtime on the pop into the final breaks. One thing that a lot of people don't talk about with Skyrocket is how good the restraints are. The restraints may seem pretty big, but you can get some decent room with them. There's a method you can use using basically just your legs to push on the shin guards, and that'll allow you to get tons of airtime room, and the ride operators don't seem to mind that much. It feels it's just amazing to get that much ejector airtime on such a small ride. And it's really easy to get the airtime room. And unlike some of the other Skyrocket models, including the Skyrocket 2 models and Skyrocket 3 models, along with the custom Skyrocket models, there is no redundant restraint, pretty much. You just have the lap bar and the shin guards. But if you look at some rides like Full Throttle, there's a seatbelt, or other rides like the Skyrocket 2s at SeaWorld parks and West Coast Racers, those have the comfort collars. Skyrocket has neither of those. and that just allows for better airtime and better dispatches. Dispatches tend to be only around 30 seconds on Skyrocket because of how short the ride is. They have to have fast operations, um, and because of that, they don't really have any major redundant restraints, which they don't really need. Those are just usually there just to make sure that guests who are too large don't end up uh, being in danger on some rides. Um, but yeah, the lack of redundant restraints just provides tons of airtime room, and it's amazing. One more ride that I do want to quickly talk about is the new for 2021 Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando. Uh, this ride has some similar elements to Skyrocket, just without the inversions, pretty much. It's mainly gonna have a swaying launch, a top hat, and some airtime hills. Now, if you just see Skyrocket's airtime hills, then you might think that those airtime hills on Icebreaker are probably not going to be that great. But Skyrocket's airtime hills can provide airtime to smaller riders. Whenever I first rode it, I was a lot shorter at the time, and I got some floater airtime on all of those hills. Um, if and the reason that they're so bad is just because of a lack of speed, I think. The speed really dies off after the mid-course brake run. Icebreaker doesn't have that problem. Icebreaker has no mid-course brake run, and because of that, the trains are probably going to have a lot of speed going through all those airtime hills, which will probably provide a strong floater to even ejector airtime. So I think that Icebreaker is probably going to be even better than Skyrocket. Icebreaker doesn't seem to be really wasting any of its speed or length. It has the swaying launch with an airtime moment, and it has the top hat, which, if it's anywhere close to the similar top hat on Skyrocket, will be amazing. Just, I honestly think that Icebreaker could be the best coaster at SeaWorld Orlando. Now, I've never been to SeaWorld Orlando, but honestly, I can say floater airtime isn't that great. I much prefer hang time and ejector airtime, so because of that, I think that Icebreaker will probably be better than Mako. We'll have to wait and see, and I'll have to get out to Florida whenever I can to ride those, but yeah, honestly, those rides just, the ride just looks like it's going to be a great ride. And if Skyrocket's similar elements, it will be a sign of anything, it'll just be a sign that this ride will be a great ride, and it's getting talked about very little. A lot of people didn't get to ride a lot of rides at Kennywood in 2020, and people who rode Skyrocket didn't often ride in the back. Uh, there was assigned seating in 2020, and while the operators would generally give you your pick if you asked, uh, I mean, they didn't always. So, a lot of people didn't get to ride in the back and didn't experience that insane ejector airtime. So, a lot of people aren't talking about the ejector airtime you're going to get on Icebreaker. From footage I've seen of Icebreaker, it seems to be running about as fast as Skyrocket did. And it's a faster ride, too, so it'll probably provide ejector airtime off that top hat. And if it does, I can't wait until I can eventually ride it. And I hope the coaster enthusiasts will be talking about this because it will be great. So, I guess the main thing I did want to talk about, though, was just how Skyrocket was running great, and Icebreaker will probably be running better, will probably be an amazing ride. I hope you enjoyed this episode, though. I'm sorry if I stuttered a lot. This is completely unscripted. Um, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like. Tell me what you think in the comments, and consider subscribing. I'll try posting more consistently. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and goodbye.